Hey, welcome back. It's time to make some room on my shelves. They're getting full again, and I just gotta have that. Gotta chop games. Gotta make some room. Some of these games I do like. It just doesn't have a fit for my collection, and some I just didn't like at all for one reason or another. We'll get into details right now. Hi, I'm Ryan, and welcome to the Board Game Journey, where you will be joining me to play 1,000 games. We currently have played 69 games, including the ones we're getting rid of today. So let's kind of go through the why, what's driving me to get rid of these games. Some I just didn't like for one reason or another. Some are good games. I just think I just have so many games like that. I have to make a hard cut. Gotta get rid of something. I'm pretty sure I followed a path like a lot of you have before me, where you get into the board game hobby and Kickstarter draws you in. I gotta try some of these new games coming out. So this is one of the first ones that I ever backed, and it is Bloomchasers. So Bloomchasers is an abstract strategy competitive game, and this box is massive. That's one thing I didn't expect the box to be this big. What is the game? I mean, from a Kickstarter perspective, I just saw this tree with a bunch of petals, and you're growing the tree, and of course, come on. I was new to the hobby. It's probably the first game I actually think this was the very first game I backed, and it had that kind of tabletop appeal that I was like, ooh, that looks so cool. Let's just show you kind of what it looks like. Boom, boom. So here is your tree base, different flowers, and these are the core branches that you will be using to build. So at Bloomchasers, you are taking one of these branches, you're putting it down, and then you're kind of playing one of these cards here, whether it be a rain, sun, or wind, and these allow you to put different these little buds onto your branches, depending on which one you pick, right? They all different things. So if I put these in a straight line, and later on, if a bloom card would come up, I could then bloom one of my flowers. So in this case, the straight line one. And there's only 3 different shapes. You have a straight line, you have one of these pyramid ones, and you have one of these that was a little bit challenging because you have to be on multiple levels. The gameplay is nice. I really don't mind the game, but it was fun. I played with my buddy the other day, and it was intense. We had a nice, really neck-to-neck in competition. We're playing the game for the competitive nature that it is, right? But then it happened. The thing that happened caused me to want to get rid of this game. Let me just show you. So as you continue to build up, you can build up like one side all over. And in our game, it was down to I think we only had maybe a couple pieces left. I'm pretty sure we were almost tied up, and I had to just I went for more of okay, if I can get this piece in here, it might set me up for the win. So I wanted to go put it, and being very careful, I think I had to go under something like this, and then in going under, over here it triggered it, and someone just did like that, and it just fell. In a way that we couldn't recreate it. And I was like, because it kind of affected 2 of us, and I was sitting there just kind of I wanted to know how it ended. It's you get to the ending, you don't want to know how it ends. And it's even that. Okay, sorry. That was unintentional. So you can see the wrong pressure in the wrong spot, it can cause some chaos. And just this reason is driving me to get rid of this game. Because we were being really careful when we were playing our game, and it still happened. So I can only imagine I have other friends that they wouldn't be nearly as careful. And I know something could easily just, topple like that with them, because they might be going underneath and they're just going to touch something and something's going to fall. So because of that, I can't keep it. It's a beautiful game. I'm sure in the right place, the right home, it'll just be fine. Just not a game I'm going to keep. The next game I'm getting rid of is another abstract game, and this is DVONN. Now this is in the gift series. Now the main driver of getting rid of DVONN is I liked abstract games. So I first got into the hobby of board games. I played a couple abstract games, and I was like, oh, that's really fun. I really enjoyed the thinking. I came from playing chess as growing up, so I was like, okay, it was a draw to me. It was this is a cooler take on chess in terms of easier rule set. Anyone can play right away. A lot of times these games, especially these gift series games, is very small rule sets. Here's the 2-3 things you need to know. Now play, right? And so this game is no different. It's very simple to teach this game, but like most abstract games, simple to teach, but hard to be really good at and think through all the puzzle of it. DVONN was my least favorite of the bunch. I'm keeping, Czar and Yinch. I think those are just, for me, better to keep. I also have the original GIF game as well, the GIF series, the GIF game, the very first one. That one's cool too. I probably will be seeing it in a video in the future, but for now I'm keeping it. I gotta play it a couple more times. So DVONN, it's fun. I just think I have so many other abstract games, and I'm realizing now I have one friend who can play these games with me, and I don't really have other people that want to play them as much. So why do I have like 20 abstract games? So I'm gonna start really being critical with those coming up in the future and start slowly parsing them down. And I'm also just finding other games that are abstract, but still like maybe more thematic and just pretty, that I feel like I could easily play those with other people faster. Like Shallow Seas is a game I just played recently that kind of fits that bill, where it's very abstract, but also it has this whole sea theme. So it almost feel like that game could be a GIF game without the theming. But I kind of prefer to keep that one over something like this. So yeah, so that's a pretty easy one for me to get rid of. I just, of all the games I played of GIF series so far, this was my least favorite. I just didn't get in this, for me, abstract games, sometimes they just tickle the brain in a certain way that's enjoyable. And this one just I don't know, there's no tickle. All right, see you, DVONN. The next game on the chopping block is a small box game. Now, I have a lot of small box games, and that's not really the reason I'm getting rid of it. I like small box games. I find they get played more because of just I play with more family and friends who aren't into gaming as much. So those games are just easy to get to the table. So having a lot of choices is nice for me because it keeps it fresh. I can introduce one almost every day for months and never really run out of games. So it's fun for me. Today's game is called Venturesome. Now, with this one, in terms of card games, I'm getting way more critical than I was in the past. So this game, maybe when I first started playing games, might have been more of a draw to me. But today, it just has a few of the kind of mechanics that I just find myself not enjoying as much, and also finding it not going over with my play group as well. So with Venturesome, you are essentially collecting cards in front of you in a row. And you can play a card in front of you as long as it's a different color. But every time you play a card, it activates a power. So, a game might look like something like this. You have 3 cards in front of you, now you gotta play another card. The reason it didn't quite go over is, it is a take that-ish game where some of these cards are just, just mean for mean's sake. Like for instance, this blue card, if you play it, you switch, you start off with like 6 or 9 cards, depending on how many players you're playing with. So if I played a blue card, I have to now switch hands with another player I'm playing with, to just completely switch hands. I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like, you might have a really good idea how you're going to play these cards, and all of a sudden you switch your hands. Now, I must admit, in playing the game, knowing that this was a thing, I was like, okay, how can I minimize this? So you play this guy, this little little loner-looking guy. If you play him, you can then say block people from playing blue cards. So maybe I play this guy, play and put the blue card down on top of it, so I know, okay, well, not on top, but over here. So that way the blue card is blocked, so no one can swap hands. So there is ways to minimize it, but I don't know. And the other cards are just swapping cards with people. So essentially the entire game is, your interaction is just like stealing cards from people or swapping cards or just flat out just taking their hand, right? And then at the end, there's this forced penalty, which I didn't really enjoy, where you have 2 cards, they're like threat cards. And on the threat cards, they either get rid of these cards. So there's a little bit of a race to get to the end, because then you can maybe pick the card that gets rid of the least cards. I don't know. The card game's fine. I'm sure this is easily enjoyed by some people. For me, with all the games I have, it doesn't really have a home. So for that reason, Venturesome is going to be donated. I have a few people I know that would love this game. So I know it will find a happy place. All right. So thank you, Venturesome. You were fun, but not for me. So the 4th game I'm going to find a new home for. Admittedly, it's probably my fault for getting rid of this one, because I was at Gen Con and I wanted to pick up Timber Town. Now, I like this game. I'm not getting rid of it. I like Timber Town. So this is a nice, cozy, 2-player little tile laying game. So nothing too crazy. It's a fun game. It's nothing like super complex. It's just a nice chill. If you're in the mood for a game like this, it's a good game. But I picked this game up, and while I was at Gen Con, he was like, they had a deal to get Happy Home. And Happy Home, I didn't know anything about. He said, oh yeah, it was like last year's big seller, or whatever. And there was a deal on the game, so I was like, sure, I'll pick it up. And I saw it was a polynomial game. And I was like, I I like polynomials. You know, I have a few of them now, but I still, I'm not against having another take on it. And it kind of, and I've seen this game before. I remember seeing like the home, so I was like, oh, this could be a cute. Let's play it. So I picked it up, tried to play it with my mother-in-law. She saw the game, took one look at all the pieces everywhere, and was like, heck no, she's not playing this game. So I convinced my buddy to play with me, which he's always down, and we just found it to be, for me, a little underwhelming. Like against other polynomials I have, I can't see myself ever going for this one over another one. If you want to see some of the pieces, one second. So here's like your home, and then all the pieces are right now just in the bags, right? So then you try to put pieces in certain places of the home, and depending on if you cover up these scratches, to hide the bad spots in your house, or there might be some conditions where you try to get things against certain walls, or you try to get certain color furniture in different rooms. So there's all these different goals. It's fine. It's not on the surface, it might be a fine game, but in playing it, I don't know. It's one of those games where I just, I was looking forward to the game being over more than playing it, which is never a good sign. So for that reason, hobby home, just not a happy home here. So the last game I'm getting rid of was the biggest surprise of today. I bought it thinking full and well that, hey, this is a cool abstract puzzle that I'm going to enjoy. The game looked beautiful, and it is Ofrenda. I even love the whole theme of the game. It's just a beautiful. And then the components, wow. I was really blown away with how nicely produced this game is. I wasn't expecting that. Let me just show you like these dual layer playing boards are gorgeous. They're nice and thick. The cards, everything lays into it nicely. And essentially, the base of this game is, you guys all know it, is you're laying out these different pictures on the card, and they all have different requirements. Like maybe one likes candy, but the other person doesn't like a green. So they're basically, you're essentially trying to lay out these different photos, but they have requirements, things they want to be next to or things they don't want to be next to. That's fine. I'm not nothing wrong with that. But in playing it, it just wasn't my favorite. And really, what really was the final nail in the coffin is the scoring. Like how you have to score this. You have to go row by row, line by line, and it just felt like a chore. And my buddy, it's confusing enough where I ended up having to score both of them, and so that was kind of a pain because, you have okay, if it's next to a candle and next to a lit, and then one of those games where it has to be, if it meets this criteria, then you get this points, but if it meets this criteria, you get this points. For many reasons, it's just not a game for me. So when it comes to abstract games, I've said it with DVONN, is some of these games tickle the brain in a way that's super enjoyable. With Ofrenda, it was not enjoyable. The entire time I'm playing, it's one of those few games where halfway through the game, I was like, I could just stop playing this game and be fine with it. It just wasn't enjoyable for me at all. So not alone, my buddy also didn't like this game. So aside from being beautiful, that's probably the only reason I would keep it, just because it's nice looking, but I never will play this game again. And that wraps up the 5 games leaving my shelf. Now, I hope you all can understand that just because I don't like the game doesn't mean it doesn't have another place it can live. There's many games that I've already gotten rid of that I talked to my friends who have them. They love them. So that's why it's easy for me to get rid of games, because I know I want games to be played and they should be played. So by me getting rid of, someone else can enjoy it. And honestly, that brings me joy. So while these games aren't for me, they very well could be for you. But yeah, I'll let you guys decide. Try them out, see if they're your thing. But hey, hit subscribe. I know, hit subscribe. I have a lot more viewers than subscribers. Now I can appreciate that when YouTubers say that. I'm always like, dang, there's a big disparity. So, help me out. If you like these videos and you want to see more, just, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video.